every investor in stock market, one of the main problem for him is losses. Now, discussing on losses, have your mindset clear. Without having any loss in your position, you cannot succeed in market, right? If anyone says I don't have any losses, I have a zero loss portfolio, or in my earlier trades, no losses at all, he is not an investor, he is just a gambler, or he is the most luckiest person in the world, right? So losses have been in the flow for even greatest of the investors like Mr. Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger, right? Any investor whom you see, that he is my guru, right? Mr. Benjamin Graham, anyone. So our art or our learning process should tell us how to minimize that, how to come out of the losses, and how to be aware of that. Okay, that is the main focus you should have. So don't be against losses, accept it, but be ready to get out of the losses ASAP, as soon as possible. Okay, so now in this next couple of minutes, we will discuss about what are the things you can do, some key pointers with a lot of examples, so that going forward, you don't commit these mistakes. Okay, so let me share my screen. So reducing losses in stock market. Okay, so couple of quick pointers I wanted to discuss with you, which is, first process is strict stop loss mechanism, guys, right? Strict stop loss mechanism. Please remember, any position you take, right? Any position you take, have your exit criteria in place, right? Before entering, you should know the exit mechanism, right? Before you enter a stock, have your price where you will exit out of it if the position is against you, and because of some reason, if it is declining, have a percentage. Yes, this is the maximum loss I will adhere, right? Personally, I follow a strict 8% rule, right? If at all any investment which I do, because of various reasons, if it is falling below 8%, I book the loss and reinvest into a better opportunity, so that I don't compound my losses. And as you know, someone who is compounding their losses for a longer time, one, it works against you. Similarly, if you are holding in a losing position for a longer time, you don't have opportunity to enter into a stronger company, right? The stop loss mechanism is very strict. For few, it may be 5%, 6%, 8%, but stick to one, right? I strictly follow 8%, right? My invested price minus 8%. If it is going down, I exit out of it, right? I'll reevaluate whether I have taken a right entry or not, or where my analysis have gone wrong, or again it starts moving, I again re-enter if my positioning is good, right? Stop loss mechanism is very, very important. Okay, next, know your risk tolerance, right? There have been investors of variant types, right? Various types. Few may be conservative investors, few may be moderate investors, few may be very high risk averse investors, right? Conservative, moderate, and high risk averse, right? So depending upon the risk you can tolerate, or what kind of an investor you are, take your positions accordingly, right? So we have already discussed in the first session of Investathon regarding how to take your positions on daily, weekly, and monthly. If you're looking on a longer term kind of an investment, quality companies look at weekly and monthly charts, and you take your position and try to hold for a longer time, right? But if you're a high risk or even a moderate investor, if you're investing into momentum or even a short term investments, then you look at daily charts and accordingly you do. I see a lot of members who are like long term investors, spend very less time on market, and if you invest into high momentum stocks, and yes, if you don't have your stop loss mechanism in place, these two are interconnected, right? If you don't have a stop loss mechanism in place, going against your risk and just entering into penny stocks or even small cap stocks will bring down your portfolio returns, right? That risk tolerance is very, very important. Okay, third aspect to it is, don't average down a losing position, right? Don't average down a losing position, or even better to say, never ever catch a falling knife. There are many investors, just because you don't follow a stop loss, right? Or even you don't exit out of a company when it is going against you, you are not ready to book losses, right? You again be tempted to reinvest into the company so that you average down, right? 100 I have entered, I will again enter at 80, again I will enter at 60, 50, right? 60, 50. So this is just you are averaging down. And even a company which is continuously falling, it's like a falling knife, right? So as you are in that downward trend, and please remember, when there are a lot of sellers, other investors also will look at exiting the business also, right? And as you see a huge selling pressure, means the volume, the red candles are very heavy, then even institutional investors are also exiting out, right? So you can't be as a contrarian play if it is a huge falling knife. Yeah, if it is a huge falling knife, you can't be a contrarian investor. So what we do, right? What we do, let us discuss certain companies in the charts, right? In the chart. Yes, your common examples will be your Paytm, right? Your LIC, even your Nika, right? Many examples. Even, right? See, Divis Laboratories. Yeah. So Divis Laboratories, if you see, yes, as a company, this has been a company where it has given returns over a period of time, right? Over a period of time, it has given return. But when you are clearly seeing for the last 1 year, right? Even from October 21, it's now around 13 months, when it is showing a lot of pain, right? One, people have already taken a position, right? That is one category. Second, people who want to take a fresh entry, where you want to enter into a pharmaceutical company, right? Pharmaceutical company, when it is showing this kind of a huge downfall, why do you want to explore this kind of a falling knife, or even averaging down in this kind of a position, right? You should not. See the kind of a candles which are forming in even on a weekly scale, right? On a daily scale, yes, definitely the pain is even more. Even on weekly scale, if you see, huge fall down, right? 9% fall down, here 18%, recently 12%. So entering into this kind of a stocks itself is a mistake. Rather, in the same category, if you look at certain businesses, right? Certain businesses where in the pharmaceutical space itself, where there is a strength, right? If you see, this is one company where fundamentally also, yes, it's good to analyze and observe, and it is slowly picking up the momentum, right? It's slowly picking up the momentum. There has been indications for you with respect to volume also, right? Just compare these two companies, guys, right? The price and volume wise, you are seeing some strength. Similarly, on Divis Lab, right? If you are seeing on the volumes also, you are seeing some considerable volumes also which are building up, which are giving you some exit signals for you, right? The buyers are not stronger here. If you see here, at least buyers are accumulating now, right? Buyers are accumulating now. So the main factor I want you to remember for your remaining investing journey also is, don't try to be in weak companies, right? Weak companies. And even, yes, the well-known company which many people have been tracking, like, yeah, Paytm also, if you see, yes, consistently falling with huge volumes, right? Recently also with huge volumes, right? Even your Nika, right? When this kind of a huge volumes you are observing, yes, company can be a futuristic company, but just don't try to average down, right? Don't try to average down. So coming back to this discussion, all these pointers what we are discussing here is to ensure that, yes, because of some reason, if you have been in that kind of a losing position, how you can reduce your losses, right? How you can reduce your losses. As I told, a 10% dip, you have to make 11% profits, right? A 33% fall in any position, until and unless you make 50% profit in that company, you will not be able to set off those losses, right? Set off those losses. Even if you are down by 100%, and even if the company is like 3x, 4x also, you will not be even in the offset kind of a position. So cutting the losses is very, very important. And fourth pointer, very, very important. There have been few investors, if you are in this community for the last 3 months, 6 months, aggressively, or even just attending all our sessions, I'm sure you are not this person who hunt for beaten down stocks or just look at opportunities to enter into 52-week low companies, right? Never ever target these beaten down stocks or even 52-week low companies. As I told you, don't try to catch the market at the lowest point and be in the market, right? Just let it show some strength. Always average up rather than averaging down, right? So, and another pointer for someone who are like over trading, right? So they want to enter in all the positions, right? All the positions. See, this, follow this every time, right? Even I don't recommend you to check daily, but even if you just check it weekly or even fortnightly, every 15 days also, you'll be a smart investor than anyone, right? Over trading means, right now, if you see India VIX, okay, which is the volatility index of Indian market, okay, volatility index of Indian market. Here, your VIX, if you see, right now, in the last couple of days, yes, volatility index is around 13 levels, right? Around 13 levels, or even to tell you, it is lower than 18, right? In the last couple of days. I hope everyone is able to see my screen. From on 28th September, if you see 19 levels, right? Yeah, as I hover the mouse here, if you look on the top, in September 22, volatility index is at 22 levels, right? Even from these levels itself, 13 September, 16, 18, right? Continuously increasing, right? And hovering to 21. During this high volatility, reduce your holdings, right? Even certain times, if you don't invest, or if you are not participating in the market, you just sit on cash. Cash is king. And it requires a lot of maturity to just be with cash and not taking any position, right? Even at these levels, if you see, VIX is at around, right? Yeah, if you see, VIX is at around 22 levels, right? 22 levels. So under this kind of a scenario, be in cash, no short-term trades, right? No short-term, no momentum trades, all these positions, right? Even in February 22, VIX is at 26 levels, 31 levels. Don't overtrade. Until and unless you find a very strong opportunity, be completely on cash. Any positions you have invested for a 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 10 year also, if you are at a 5%, 6%, 10% for kind of a profits, liquidate, be on cash if the overall market is not good, right? Yes, this kind of a levels, yes, markets are conducive, right? So what do I mean by don't overtrade? With respect to the market signals, take your positions accordingly, right? And lastly, be with stronger sectors, right? In order to ensure that I'm not committing any mistake in the positions which I choose or in the sectors where I'm investing, always look for a giant, right? Which sector is showing strength? Which sectoral wise companies where I'm seeing a lot of momentum is happening, right? Trend. Whenever you are sailing, all the sailors, if someone have been sailing or had the experience of boat and all that, boat travel and all that, the boat tries to sail their wings in such a way the direction is towards the wind so that they will easily travel, right? Similarly, when you are investing in the market, your short-term positions, your momentum positions, in order to succeed, right? Look at sectors which are trending and look at sectors which are stronger with respect to Nifty. And if you select companies within the sector, chances of you getting profits will be high. And even because of some external reason or some sudden reason in the market, because this market is all about uncertainty, right? First thing we understand about market is uncertain, right? Any sudden news is coming, even a stronger sector it is falling, the percentage of fall will be lower, right? If you follow all these things very strictly, right, and if you understand these things, slowly incorporate in your investing style, you will not compound your losses, rather you compound your profits, right? Even in the stronger sector, for the last 1.5 months to 2 months, we have been discussing about defense related companies, right? Defense related companies. So if you see all these businesses, right, most of the defense companies, right, are at an all-time high. See the kind of a move it has had, supported with a volume, right? Means sectorally, buyers are also stronger here, right? Even your Mesgon Dock, right? A very strong volume. And yes, these businesses, I see a lot of members who already have made a killing in these companies, right? Even any business, right? HAL, even if you see Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, this is one of the company where a huge order book they have within the defense related companies, right? Cochin Mazgon showing a lot of strength in defense. And even in the last couple of days, right? Even in the last 1 month kind of a scenario, right? So all your public PSU banks, right? PSU banks, the kind of a strength it is showing with a huge price volume action is humongous, right? Is humongous. And yes, even your private sector space also, if you see, even the banking index also is doing wonderfully well, right? It's like an all-time high right now on a weekly scale, right? On a weekly scale. So just try to incorporate all these learnings strictly in your investment procedure. I'm sure the percentage of losses what you have will be coming down very, very, it will be like a drastically huge turn you will have in the profits and losses wise, right? Just try to incorporate them. And yes, main thing, look at various case studies, right? Past will repeat, right? Past will repeat in one or the other form. Just try to incorporate learning this, and I'm sure you will be getting a huge breakthrough.